Hello, it is I, the one, the only. Today we're going to talk about some of the more recent approaches to probiotic health. Because, I upload videos, like one video ever of kombucha, and just the connection between the different strains of bacterias um, that are present in kombucha, perhaps in relation to other probiotic um, products on the market today. Um, so today I'm just going to be, going through, I guess for maybe my own mental sake, just to have it out there so that, I can at least have a cited article that perhaps sometime in the future, if somebody was curious about, that I could source or, call upon. So let's hop right into it. So this study that I have right now is let me think. Gastroenterologist Feng Yan and DB Polk. I think they did this study for open public, but they also just uploaded their studies on both MedGen and PubMed. You can probably find the link in the description if I remember it. Okay. So the beneficial effects of probiotics have been demonstrated in many diseases. One of the major mechanisms of probiotic action is through the regulation of the host immune response. This is what this review is about. It highlights the recent scientific research findings that advance our understanding of probiotic regulation of the host immune response with potential application for disease prevention and treatment. They just hop right into it. If you want to actually download the full study with the hypothesis and everything included, it should be on this link as well. The probiotic genomic and proteomic studies have identified several genes and specific compounds derived from probiotics which mediate immunoregulatory effects. Studies regarding the biological consequences of probiotics and host immunity suggested that they regulate the functions of systematic and mucosal immune cells and intestinal epithelial cells. Thus, probiotics showed therapeutic potential for diseases, including several immune response-related diseases such as allergy, eczema, viral infection, and potentiating vaccination responses. That's pretty fucking cool. The fact that it can boost your immune system that much, I think should be underlined more, not only with guidelines to public health, but also just in everyday life. I'm not surprised that these are recent findings, even though we've had a long history in multiple studies when it came to the probiotic bacterias in the gut, and then also correlations between those and their links to the gut pH, and then also the immunity system as a whole. So we'll just go through the introduction. I figured this video might be a little bit longer, but hey, why not talk about probiotics today? The immune response is initiated by innate immunity following exposure to foreign substances or tissue injury. Innate immunity exerts protective roles in host homeostasis in part by priming adaptive immune responses against persisting insults and inducing inflammation. However, the unbalanced immune response leads to severe inflammation and uncontrolled tissue damage and disease. Sensing of the intestinal microbiota by the host mucosal immune system plays a significant role in maintaining intestinal homeostasis and inducing systematic protective responses. Thus, manipulation of the intestinal microbiota is a potential alternative approach for maintaining health and preventing and/or treating diseases. Probiotics were defined as live microorganisms which, when consumed in adequate amounts as part of food, confer a health benefit on the host. Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, and Saccharomyces are three extensively studied and commonly used probiotics in humans and animals. So, more or less, this pathogen-induced inflammation through receptor-regulated signaling pathways, more or less, they are finding that the manipulation of the intestinal microbiota, the intestinal microbacterium, could be blocking these pathogenic bacterial effects via this toll-like signaling receptor response by the body. Not only does it boost the overall immune system, but we are actually starting to identify the specific mechanisms that go into why there's so much that should play on having a deep relationship with your gut, having a deep relationship with your gut bacterium. You can Google it. They say that a human body is much more bacteria than it is actually human. And I know that may come out to be pretty fucking crazy, but Google it. If you don't believe me, read the studies, read the facts, because the facts are there, and they are one of those things that I think aren't ever as much discussed, aren't ever is for someone like me that hasn't been to college yet, is working on a citizenship in another country, only has the time each day to perhaps read a couple of these sorts of scholarly articles and form my opinions based on that. I could call from personal experiences in which, I don't know, fuck it, man, I was going to be like hungover the next day or something, and just, ingesting probiotics, ingesting fair amounts of water, larger amounts of water, and noticing that not only, was that hangover not present, but also I felt a renewed sense of not feeling as dehydrated when I had fallen asleep or woken up with that same fair clairvoyance, or the best form of clairvoyance, as being hungover. So that thinking about that critically, sure, it's a personal experience, but I think that there's enough research here, at least so far, that could back up this frame of thought, and could be a potential alternative approach to solutions in the future, especially with engineering specific bacterial strains that could perhaps put the evolutionary stepway for the evolutionary bacteria on like a slope upwards. I don't think we're putting enough funding into probiotic bacterial research, at least not singularly, past trials. Just my opinion again. We can continue on here. Several beneficial effects of probiotics on the host intestinal mucosal defenses systems have been identified. That's great. These include blocking pathogenic bacterial effects by producing bactericidal substances and competing with pathogens and toxins for adherence to the intestinal epithelium. For intestinal epithelial homeostasis, probiotics promote intestinal epithelial cell survival, enhance barrier function, and stimulate protective responses from intestinal epithelial cells. Most importantly, modulation of the immune system is one of the most plausible mechanisms underlying the beneficial effects of probiotics on human health. Probiotics have been found to enhance the innate immunity and modulate pathogen-induced inflammation via toll-like receptor-regulated signaling pathways. So, to every single person sitting here saying, I took probiotics, I noticed that, I shat, 2-3 times a day, it's simply probably because, your gut pH is coming back into action the way that it should. The gut bacteria are working, they're multiplying, I feel that this study in black and white pretty much outlines the fact that if your immunity is low, that there isn't that balance of beneficial bacteria to unbeneficial bacteria, and your gut microflora, unfortunately for you, is suffering because of that. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Am I an epidemiologist? No. Am I somebody that spent the last 20, 30 years studying, bacteria strains in a fucking lab? No. But I do think that the common everyday individual, much like myself, should take the time to set aside to really think critically about gut bacteria and how they affect our diet. And I do also attest that a plant-based diet is better. Just going to throw that in there. I'll probably get all the hate from that, not from the study. I could continue to go, but this is going to take a bit to upload. But I just figured, why not throw in some quick thoughts about probiotics? Perhaps do an update on my probiotic kombucha colony extravaganzas. Maybe do like a ferret video or something. So stay tuned, Anthony, because I'm pretty much the only one that watches my videos. If you are actually here because you give a shit about gut bacteria, follow the link. Information is just key, vital to maintaining a healthy gut microflora and a healthy gut bacteria count, and just keeping your overall immune system high in these troubling times. So that should wrap it up. It's about 11 minutes long, so good rest of your 2020. I guess if I read another article, I'll make another video. I don't fucking know. We'll see how, life goes. Like, my whole channel is pretty much just jumbled shit. Music and this, that, speaking Finnish. So you don't know what direction I'm going to go in next. I don't really plan it out. I just kind of let it happen, let it flow, and then we'll see how, this goes. But I didn't even dig deep into this yet, and we're already finding mechanisms. So I don't think this is going to be a 2-part thing. But, it maybe if I want it to be, it could be, we'll see what happens, I don't know what I'm doing the rest of the day, So, peace.